on the home of the Brewers, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning. 10 o'clock. We have 78 degrees. It's sunny now, turning partly cloudy later today with a slight chance of a storm later on. High today of 87. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has invalidated the state's 1849 abortion law. The ruling handed down by the court this morning affirms a lower court's previous decision that had overturned the 176-year-old law. A Dane County Circuit Court judge had ruled in 2023 that the law did not apply to voluntary abortions. We'll have more details throughout the morning here on WTMJ. Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted of a prostitution-related offense but acquitted on the most serious charges at his New York trial. The mixed result could still put Combs behind bars for up to a decade. He was convicted of transporting people across state lines for the purpose of engaging in prostitution, but the jury acquitted him of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges, which were related to allegations that he forced girlfriends into hundreds of drug-fueled sex marathons with other men. His lawyer said the women were willing participants. $16 million settlement's been reached between the owners of CBS News and Donald Trump over that 60 Minutes interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris. Paramount Global said Tuesday the settlement includes plaintiffs' fees and costs, and it'll be paid to Trump's future presidential library. It does not include a statement of apology or regret. President Trump's budget bill has now left the Senate for the House. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
By one estimate, the bill would add at least $3.3 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years. The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for the wealthiest Americans, and fulfills some campaign promises like no taxes on tips and overtime. But it defies Trump's repeated pledge that he would not cut Medicaid. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicts some 11.8 million Americans could lose their health coverage over the next decade.
Some House Republicans have already expressed reluctance to support the bill as written. Nurses at a Janesville medical clinic are now on strike, demanding a wage hike amid higher costs of living. WISC TV's Kyle Pazorski.
UAW Local 95 President Judy McRoberts tells me the nurses who voted on authorizing the strike are looking for wage increases that keep up to the continued rise of inflation.
They seem to be able to pay their CEOs whatever they want.
Mercy Health Vice President Jenny Hallett says in a statement, quote, "We have always treated our 137 partners at Mercy Health East in a fair and equitable manner, consistent with our other 8,000 plus employee partners. Unfortunately, the union has rejected our offer."
The union last reached an agreement with Mercy Health in 2022. It's unclear how long the work stoppage will last. A leadership shakeup in Milwaukee County comes amid increased scrutiny of the Milwaukee County transit system.
The County Department of Transportation's Executive Director Donna Brown-Martin announced her resignation Tuesday. Brown-Martin, who is not an MCTS employee, recently reported to county supervisors the root causes of a nearly $11 million budget deficit that MCTS says will lead to service reductions later this year.
Overtime is an ongoing issue for them, and it's a contributor to our costs overall.
The county comptroller has requested an audit of MCTS, which is expected to take up to a year to complete. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Members of the task force charged with identifying a new Milwaukee City flag have been unveiled. The 9-person body includes Milwaukee author John Gerda, Marisol Aceveda from Visit Milwaukee, and former Alderman Nick Kovac. Last month, current Alderman Pete Bergelis said this task force will focus on making sure the flag selection process is more inclusive than previous efforts.
If the process wasn't perfect, we can do better, and we are doing better with this task force.
The task force will begin meeting later this month with a public call for flag design submissions to follow. A record 72.2 million people expected to travel in the next week.
Independence Day travel got off to a rough start when weather-related flight delays and cancellations in the Northeast rippled out to other major airline hubs. And if the weather doesn't spoil your trip, your fellow passengers might. A Frontier Airlines flight morphed into a Frontier Airlines fight.
The man sitting behind was making comments to the man in front the whole flight.
A 21-year-old man was charged with battery after that flight landed in Miami. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow down 34 points, NASDAQ up 163, S&P 500 up 13. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
But the car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff could make his first big league start over 600 days in the final game of the road trip Sunday against the Marlins.
Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I don't know. I'll be excited to go pitch, but I don't know the emotions, and be excited just to go pitch in a Major League Baseball game again. And whatever happens, happens, and then just go from there.
Today, the Brewers in New York for a doubleheader. Coverage of the game Game 1 begins at 11:35 here on WTMJ. Game 2 coverage begins at 5:35. Freddie Peralta and Jacob Mizorowski will start games 1 and 2. Take a look at your roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-94 West, about a third of a mile beyond the ramp from 70th Street. The left shoulder there was blocked due to a crash. It looks like they've made some clear work of that. There is a disabled vehicle blocking the right shoulder, 94 West, about a quarter of a mile beyond the ramp from Highway 100.
Traffic is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 and Layton Avenue in Greenfield. 23rd and Lincoln and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee. Great bargains and a great cause. You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today, slight chance of storms later on. High 87, overnight low 67 with still some isolated showers possible. Partly cloudy tomorrow, warm. Again, a slight chance of storms, highs 83 to 88. Hot and humid on Friday, maybe some showers early with a high Independence Day of 90. Sunny, hot and humid Saturday, chance of storms at night. High 92 and a chance of rain again on Sunday. Storms possible as well with a high of 85. Right now in Madison, 77. Green Bay 79, Milwaukee 78 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's 10:08 here on 620 WTMJ. Kristin Brey, Steve Scaffidi on Point Taken. There's never slow news days.
Never slow.
But there's a lot of breaking news happening this morning, and we're going to start, of course, with the breaking news from the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
I'm not sure anyone's surprised by this.
No.
I would imagine that a lot of people saw this coming. But yes, the women in Wisconsin will continue to have access to abortion services under the new ruling from the state's highest court that invalidates the 176-year-old state law that had banned abortion in nearly every situation. So what does this mean? It's a ruling not probably expected. It's 4-3. With the Liberals voting in the majority.
Stemming back to 2022 when the Supreme Court,
yes.
U.S. Supreme Court flipped Roe v. Wade.
And so if you remember the timeline, June 2022, Roe v. Wade fell, Dobbs came out, and there was uncertainty because there was this 1849 abortion ban law on the books that Planned Parenthood and other providers reverted back to until this court case kind of made its way through the judicial system. 2023, a Dane County court judge rules that it's feticide. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe that's the term, yeah.
And not abortion,
feticide,
but not
correct.
voluntary abortions is how the law was meant to be interpreted. That obviously got appealed, goes to the Supreme Court, and now we finally have a ruling on that, which is good. I mean, as someone who is pro-choice, as someone who's been pregnant and understands the health risks that go into being pregnant, I am a strong believer that abortion is healthcare. Even if you don't want to believe that an ectopic pregnancy and fetal anomalies aren't abortions, medically you're wrong. They are. And it is necessary healthcare to keep women safe. And this is a good thing. The one thing I will say is this, what this reverts back to is the 2015 laws that were passed in legislature saying that there is still a ban after 20 weeks. And what I will say is, for any of us who've been pregnant since the 20-week scan became a thing, and that is like when you go in and you're obviously deep into your second trimester, and the scan that they give you, I mean, you see the veins, the blood vessels, like you can see which way you can see everything. And that is typically when you find out if there is something seriously wrong with your baby. And so I will say, as that limitation is still in place, this doesn't help people who in those situations will have to grieve the loss of their child and also travel to get the care that they need.
So what do you think will happen in Wisconsin now that this ruling has come out? We have that 20-week marker. You just talked about people traveling to, extend their access. Illinois, I think, is the closest, right?
I mean, depending on where you are in the country, right?
Yeah.
The state, right? It's either going to be Minnesota,
what is Minnesota?
Illinois.
Same sort of.
I would think they're, yes, they have. I don't know if they have a week limitation on, but I would imagine, given where Minnesota's been in the last decade with their policies, it's more liberal than ours.
Now, in her argument and her decision, Justice Dowd pointed to the fact that the legislature can change any or all of this with their actions. Do you think it's likely that?
Depends on what the makeup of the.
Well, that's the big question,
body is, right?
If it changes, the leadership changes, the party in charge changes over the next few years in the Assembly and the Senate. What do you think that 20-week? Let's just use the term ban because that's what everyone's calling it. Do you think that is subject to change?
If Democrats had all three chambers,
yeah.
If they had the governor and Senate and Assembly,
yeah,
good. I mean, I think there would be a push for that, yeah.
And here's where I'm going with the final question, at least that I have about this: what would a Democratic leadership in the Assembly, Senate, and the governor's office? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if that happened, what would the rules of abortion look like in Wisconsin, do you think? That's the ultimate question I think people are asking.
I think that's the thing, because I just think that there is the overriding feeling and narrative around abortion is women changing their mind in the third trimester, is using abortion as birth control, and all of these things that is not true. I mean, over 93% of abortions happen in the first trimester, and usually, most likely, for the 7-8% that is after that is for reasons that I just said. It's not because you couldn't make up your mind or you changed your mind. It's that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Your health, the baby's health, and you need more health care than is available to you.
Which is sort of the point of having these detailed scans, so you can assess the health and safety and risk for the mother and the child all through the process. And if you're just going to disregard that and say 20 weeks done, that seems not really using science to its full advantage. Real quick, I want to just read the comments of the dissent in this case, which is Rebecca Bradley, who may or may not be running for office next year, or at least to hold her seat. She wrote that, and this is a direct quote, the majority opinion erases a law it does not like, making 4 lawyers Interesting, she doesn't even call them justices, which is why. Why would you do that? Sitting on the state's highest court, more powerful than the people's representatives in the legislature. Any remaining doubt over whether the majority's decisions are motivated by the policy predilections of its members have been extinguished by its feeble attempt to justify a raw exercise of political power. The majority not only does violence to a single statute, it defies the people's sovereignty. Grand statement from Justice Rebecca Bradley.
Shocking.
Yeah. Not shocking, but lots more news to get to. We'll obviously stay on this story as it develops. Kristin and Steve on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring great tips on how to operate your home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi, Advent. Why do I love Advent? Because they changed my life, and they can change yours, too. Are you having those issues, the snoring, the tossing and turning, just the dangerous elements of all of that, where you're not getting the oxygen you need to be peaceful in your sleep and to be rested and refreshed in the morning? Well, I did something about it. Before I ever was a spokesperson, I was a customer and a client of Advent. I went to Advent, 30-minute visit. They put me these. They answered all my questions. I talked to 2 docs on that visit. We added in a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined that my problem was sinuses and nasal passages, not getting enough air for my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, breathing better than ever, 5 years now, still sleeping through the whole night. That can be your success story as well. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Downtown Milwaukee is open for business, and business is booming. I'm Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21. According to business leaders, access to talent, quality of life, and connection to community are among the many benefits of locating downtown. So, if you want to grow your company or start a new one, get down to business at MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi. And I just checked, just refreshed, Trump's schedule. All clear today. Just to make time to meet with undecided House Republicans.
Yeah.
On this
They're
mega bill.
They're sweating it because they need to have everybody on board.
But they don't actually need to have it by July 4th.
No, they don't. That's the president's thing. That's why he's working so hard on this. They can. I think they can lose 3 votes, but this is all fluid.
It's 3 votes.
It's fluid because you don't know who's going to show up day to day, right? There's a lot of members, 500 plus. Somebody could be sick. There's a travel piece. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Weather is contributing to delays from some of the folks getting back to Washington D.C., so they're worried about that. Speaker Johnson said we got to actually have almost like a cruise director look at this and get
Wait,
people.
how many people aren't actually in D.C. yet?
Tons of them. Apparently they went home.
Well, I knew that. I knew that he called them back, but I didn't know if there was a count as far as who's having issues getting
It's more
there.
than a dozen, which is concerning when you don't have a huge majority. All of this matters, of course, because the House has to reconcile what the Senate did.
Well, imagine that some Democrats, too, who can't get back or who are struggling to get back.
Which again
matters.
changes the margins here. This is all related to what is not called the Big Beautiful Bill anymore because Chuck Schumer got involved. It has a new
what a
name.
thing to hang your hat on, Chuck.
Of all the things
man,
he could
really
do.
just proud of that move. He tweeted it out yesterday. And it was like, well, the one thing you could do.
That's symbolic.
They gave it to you, buddy.
Yeah, it's a symbolic of a weak leader.
Eye roll.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, so that all has to do with getting this bill passed, reconciled and passed at the president's desk by the 4th of July. I can't see the future. It seems like a lot of heavy lifting to do in 2 days, right?
I mean, I didn't think the Senate was going to get through, and here we are.
Yeah.
They basically
did.
barely did.
They needed
because
J.D. Vance.
Yes, exactly.
And his eyeliner to get it done. But, I mean, it's a lot going on here. I guess I don't know enough about this bill. I haven't read all 900 and some pages yet, which I'm going to spend time doing. I'll skim it, which is what I always do when I see a final version. And did they actually read this thing in the Senate?
Did.
That's got to be the worst job in the world, right? Because no one's in there. See, that's the ironic thing. They're reading it out loud, like a page or whoever's doing it, maybe a member, and no one's listening. They're like all doing something else. They're all sleeping or out to get coffee or whatever. That's the ironic thing. So no one's really paying attention. Does anyone ever read every word of a 900?
I'm sure there's some people who do.
Yeah, lawyers, probably.
Lawyers, staffers, maybe some of the actual elected officials read it. I'm certain. If anything, maybe they just put it into an AI thing now and they ask to summarize it for them. I think that I haven't read it either because I'm not gonna. I
never waste time until it's final.
I certainly rely on the different summaries of news organizations that are reading it and the journalists who are reading it. But it's interesting. I asked someone that we work with who's conservative what he knows about it. And I think that's the thing that's interesting of what's seeping through to people of what they know.
Yeah.
And he said, there's things in there that I like. And he said immigration. Because there's a huge, this is something that I think has actually gone underreported. There's like a 20x increase for the ICE budget.
Yeah.
It goes from like 2.3 billion to over 45 billion of money for ICE and detention centers. So there's that. So, but he knew that it increases the deficit and he didn't like that. But he's like, and then he was like, I got to be honest, I don't know a lot more than that.
Right.
Right. But like, that's a lot of people, right? Like most people as they're going through their day aren't going to be able to go through the talking points of what this bill does or doesn't do.
Yeah. I think the biggest concern that I have is, and again, I come at it from a different perspective than you do. I'm on the right side of the aisle, but I also care about this stuff, and that's healthcare safety net for people across this country that need help on occasion with their healthcare, with their food, and especially young children, which some of these programs are already being impacted. A texter made a great point about the impact of these cuts on Medicare and Medicaid. And can we throw out this political talking point that it's just illegals that the cuts are happening to? It's not true. It's a talking point.
So here's the thing that I want people to be aware of. The reason they're like, the people who are going to get kicked off are the able-bodied young men who are on their couch playing video games. And that is a talking point. The reality is currently, so we're talking about the reason why people are, the projection of people getting kicked off Medicaid is because of the increased red tape it's going to take because of these work requirements. So right now, when you apply for Medicaid, you have to prove that you're eligible once a year. And as you imagine, there is administrative costs and bureaucracy with that. This is increasing that to 2 times a year. And on top of that, if you are again, single, like do not have dependents under 13, are not pregnant, and are under 64 years old, you're going to have to prove that you are either volunteering, getting an education, working 80 hours a month. Again, sounds good on paper, but you have to have people who are verifying that. So the projection is the amount of people who are going to fall off because of the increased burden of proving your eligibility. So people who actually are eligible won't jump through the hoops needed because it's becoming much more difficult. So people who are eligible will go without health care.
And states that have done this have actually seen the opposite happen. They haven't seen these people showing up.
And that's the thing. So Arkansas did this and did not see, they scrapped it because more than 18,000 people lost coverage in just a few months, and they saw no uptick in employment.
Yeah, real quick, I want to get to this texter's point because it's important. With these cuts to Medicare funding, Medicaid funding, resident doctors, you could see significant impact on staffing in ERs. Last time I checked, that's really important. Hospitals, training of future doctors, because that's where they get their skill sets. So as they learn to be experienced, practice doctors, all of these things have consequences. Think long and hard about what you're doing. And I haven't even gotten to research yet, which is cut in half in a lot of some of these cuts. You don't think we need cancer research or other major
Alzheimer's research,
all this stuff,
research?
All this stuff. That's some of the things that people aren't talking enough about. Kristin and Steve on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend.
the best way to remove urine from a mattress is to trade in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hassleus Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. And that's on top of our everyday low prices.
Come on, everybody says lowest prices.
Others sell a Sealy Posturepedic Queen Emeryville A mattress for $12.68. Hassleus sells it for $10.34. But through Monday, it's just $7.86. And check out the low prices on Beautyrest and more. Plus, free next day delivery.
What does my friend do with his old soaked mattress?
We haul it away for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassleus.com.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Dan, what are you doing?
Taking a closet for a test drive.
A test drive?
Here at Inspired Closets, we have our own cutting-edge immersive design experience.
That's right. Envisioned by Inspired Closets uses AR technology that's sort of like test driving a car.
Virtually walk into your custom closet at scale before anything is even built.
You can even make changes in real time, so your environment will adapt to any design revisions you make in that moment.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets, a wife and husband team.
Is it really the city that never sleeps?
New York, New York.
Or is it the city that never swings?
3-2 pitch. And he got him looking with the slider. Jacob Mizorowski, his 8th strikeout of this game.
The Brewers head to the Big Apple to take on the Mets.
And about as fired up as you'll see him running back into that first base dugout.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 11:35. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Steve and Kristin on this Wednesday. I want to play something for you. It's an interesting look at this big, well, it's not called that, this big bill.
So Trey Crowder is a comedian. He is from rural Tennessee, which you'll be able to tell immediately from his accent. But he is a co-author of The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Around Here and Over Yonder. So he really plays into the southern aspect of where he comes in the country, but is pretty progressive. And so this was his take on the bill that he posted to Instagram yesterday.
Well, the Senate has passed Trump's big, beautiful bill, which I've decided I'm going to call the B-B-B. It's hard to make it sound any dumber than the actual name already is, but I just like the mocking tone of that. It's like, oh, do you support the B-B-B? Do you think the B-B-B is good? Either way, the bill passed another hurdle, and it's closer to being law, and MAGA is rejoicing. You know, I honestly kind of can't help but admire y'all's capacity for mental gymnastics, truly. Like, y'all have a Simone Biles floor routine going on perpetually upstairs, and I'm kind of in awe of it. I am, because, see, me, whenever the politicians and party that I've supported, whenever they throw me and mine under the insatiable stampeding bus of oligarchy and greed, which, believe me, they've done over the years, I feel enraged. I feel naive. I feel betrayed by that, right? But y'all, whenever Team Trump does that to y'all, you somehow backflip your brain into feeling euphoric, victorious, honored to have the privilege of being crushed by your better's boot heel. Yes, more, impoverish me, daddy.
Mark Ruda?
It is an interesting take. This desire to be happy about whatever happens, even though you get screwed by it. Yeah, sure, sign me up for that because he's my guy.
And what do you think the psychology behind that is?
That's a great question. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Is it because people don't necessarily see themselves as the people who will be affected by this. It's other people. It's people poorer than me.
Yeah,
it's people. It's I'm fine. Because it's the same thing with like the psychology of thinking that you're closer to being a billionaire than you are to being on the street, which is just factually inaccurate.
Yeah.
And it's we are all closer to being on any of these programs than we are to being having a $55 million wedding in Venice.
Often people think they're immune from this stuff, and they're
or that
not.
Someday when I'm rich, I'm going to benefit from those tax cuts.
It's love of the celebrity. It's love of the rich. This fascination. You know, I did a podcast on it. The fascination with billionaires that people have, and how stupid that is. And I'm not a fan of any of them. And I think a lot of them are dangerous, including Elon Musk and others. And I wonder what's going to happen with this bill and its impacts. I think a lot of people are going to have a serious wake up call if and when it gets passed in the manner that it's written. They'll find out, and I don't think.
The thing is, I was reading the Medicaid stuff doesn't start until 2027.
Yeah, they also
so it's a little delayed.
Too, yeah.
It's a little delayed as far as the immediate feeling of it, unlike the uncertainty of the tariffs.
I could be wrong, but there was a piece originally in the Senate version that didn't happen until after 2028. It's like, come on, what are we doing here? Why would you? There's going to be a different Congress by then. That's the stuff that pisses me off. All right, local news. Here's now the latest from ABC.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Sean Diddy Combs found not guilty of sex trafficking and not guilty of racketeering conspiracy. The verdict's a big win for the hip-hop mogul who was convicted of 2 lesser charges of transportation for prostitution. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more on what the jury had agreed upon.
They really had to make a difficult decision, not just on the racketeering conspiracy, but as the defense said, the women that Combs was accused of trafficking were also his long-term girlfriends. Cassie Ventura with him for 11 years, Jane with him for more than 3 years. And the defense tried to argue that they were consensual relationships.
Aaron Katursky outside the courthouse. Both sides have until 1 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon to write letters to the judge to advocate for and against his release. The judge has not set a time, but says he will decide on that today. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1031. I'm Connie Weber. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has invalidated the state's 1849 abortion law. The ruling handed down by the court this morning affirms a lower court's previous decision that had overturned the 176-year-old law. A Dane County Circuit Court judge had ruled in 2023 the law did not apply to voluntary abortions. Attorney General Josh Kaul will address the media this hour. 8 families displaced after an early morning fire burns down a New Berlin apartment complex, West Lincoln Avenue and Liberty Lane. Around 4:30 this morning, a resident reported fire coming from her bedroom closet near a furnace. Everybody got out okay. Nationwide theft ring targeting luxury cars connected to Kenosha County has been busted. Sheriff's Office says high-end vehicles are being targeted, stolen from residents and from Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport using professional-grade scanning devices and cloning tools. The proceeds were then being funneled into phony LLCs before being used to purchase real estate, which was ultimately sold to launder the money. The investigation has led to 23 federal indictments. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 26 points, 44,521. NASDAQ up 144 at 20,347. S&P 500 up 14 points at 6,212. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a new crash. This is blocking the left lane. This is going to be I-41 at the ramp from Capitol Drive. Again, left lane there restricted due to a new crash in that area. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today. Slight chance of storms later on into the overnight hours. High today 87. Overnight low 67. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs 83 to 88. Slight chance of rain early Friday. Partly cloudy, hot and humid. High of 90. Mostly sunny, hot and humid Saturday. Chance of storms at night with a high of 92. And then just a chance of storms again on Sunday again. Partly cloudy skies. High of 85. 79 in Madison. 81 in Green Bay, 79 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1033.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or two. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at annexwealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, yeah. It's hump day.
You waited on that.
I did.
You had some restraint.
Yes.
Good to know that you have that capability.
But I never forget. I'm bringing it. I know it's kind of gone out of fashion.
It's not. Literally every show does this. I bet if we asked our other teammates how many of them say hump day on Wednesday, 75% would say yes.
Our teammates?
Between WTMJ, ESPN, and The Truth. I would guess 75%.
I would say more heavy on the ESPN Truth side than the WTMJ side. So do you think the folks that are after us...
You don't think Vince Vitrano says hump day?
No, he doesn't. I don't think so.
Greg Matzik?
Matzik, maybe. Certainly not Jessica.
Yeah, definitely not Jessica.
Not Julia. Not John.
You don't think John ever says happy hump day?
Maybe off mic. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing it back because I want to. All right. What's your thoughts about the state of trust in our country? It's a bad segue.
Very low.
Very low, right?
Very low.
I used to do lists of all the things that since the pandemic we've sort of lost faith in.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I wish I got to dig that out because it was like 50 going strong to 75.
Trust in our institutions are basically as low as I think they've ever been.
Yeah. And I'm not a fan of that because many of these institutions are the reason we survive as a country, whether it's you're talking about health or just the safety of all of us. And just to blow that up because you don't like governments seems scary to me. And vigilante justice or vigilante anything always seems dangerous to me because sometimes stupidity reigns. Doesn't mean it couldn't work on occasion. People get fired up and they do things that maybe work, but I'm just not a fan of that. But I'm a big believer in trust in institutions, whether that's education, governmental, because without that, it's sort of a mess.
It's a free-for-all.
Free-for-all. And I don't know if you found it or...
So I mentioned this yesterday on the show.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how truth is expensive. Then we talked about it a little bit on...
Very expensive.
We talked about it a little bit on when we recorded our podcast yesterday. I then sent you the clip, and you were like, oh, we got to play this.
Yes. So let's...
So this is Yuval Noah Harari, who is the author of Sapiens and Nexus and a bunch of other books. Very smart. Very smart. He was on Bill Maher. This is, I think, earlier this year. And the first time I saw this clip, it hit me. It was a gut punch because I felt like it was so accurate of what we're going through right now.
And pull your politics out of your ears and just listen to the words he says in this piece.
The key issue is that democracy is based on trust, whereas dictatorship is based on terror. If you systematically destroy trust in institutions, destroy trust in the media, in academia, in the courts, and so forth, some people think that this is liberating the people from these institutions. Right. It's not. When you destroy all trust, the only thing that can still work is a dictatorship. Right. So this is what would-be dictators do. They systematically destroy trust. And the other thing to realize is that the vast majority of information is not truth. A key misconception, especially in places like Silicon Valley, is to equate information with truth. Most information is junk. I mean, the truth is a very rare and costly and precious sub-kind of information, because, to write a truthful story, you need to invest a lot of time and effort and money in research and fact-checking, whereas fiction is very, very cheap.
Oh, it's still so good.
I love everything about what he just said. It is expensive. It is time-consuming. But you know what?
But also that truth is a subset of information.
Yeah. This idea that because you read it somewhere, you heard somebody say it, or your party says it, or you're dumb, you know what?
President says it.
Yeah, is silly and stupid. It's caused us to be dumber every day.
Well, that was one of the things, Rick Essenberg was here yesterday, and I would imagine anyone who can think about where Rick stands on the ideological spectrum and where I am, not a lot that we necessarily agree on, but I thought there was things that he said yesterday that I was like, oh man, like I definitely agree with you on that. And it was right out of the gate when he was talking about like the reason that we have rights is that so like popular opinion can't override them. You can't just like have 52% of people say, I don't want free speech anymore, and it goes away. And those are like the core tenets of our democracy and why they are constitutional protected rights, because the will of the people might change and ebb and flow over time. And thus, because they get bad information.
Even more relevant, I don't like those people. Get them out of here. Which is Alligator Alley and all this other crazy stories.
Alligator Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Just makes me sick to my stomach.
I hope you'd listen to those words. We may tee it up in a post because I think it's really important to understand what we're trying to do and what others are trying to do when we get back to the basics of trust in certain institutions that at least keep us on the path to sanity and to democracy and to a country and a world where it's not just people blowing each other up every damn day, because there's a lot of that happening around the world. Rights being violated, women's rights being violated, women being treated like they were treated thousands of years ago, still happening in this world, which is sick and completely ridiculous that we still, in this modern world where everything is instantaneous, these things are still happening on the ground in countries around this world. How is that possible? That's what makes me sick. So when you blow up an institution, whether it's the media, medical providers, doctors and scientists, even our government, if you say government is bad or government is evil, the alternative to that is probably more so evil and bad because it's chaos and it's controlled by popularity and not science and facts and trust. I think that's the concern I have. It's a brilliant piece. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. That's the kind of stuff that we should all be thinking about. We played a couple clips today for a reason. They were saying things that I don't think enough people are thinking about. They're reading the headlines, if they even do that, because we've also done a podcast on how much people are paying attention to the news, but they're not listening. Any of those questions about where these clips come from, just fire us a text on our Siding Unlimited WTMG Talking Text line.
I'll send it to you.
It's worth sharing.
I'll set up a keyword right now. We'll announce it when we come back.
They're worth sharing. Lots more to get to. We got a shortened show today. Brewers doubleheader, by the way. So we're going to be out here at 11:30. But we're going to have an action-packed next 45 minutes because there's still a lot to talk about. Kristin and Steve, point taken at 620 WTMJ.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's Steve Scaffidi. I've been on this weight loss journey since mid-January, and I'm currently in the maintenance phase, hitting my goal of losing, get this, 40 pounds. I reached my weight loss goal fast, easy, and safely, and I'm going to continue working with the wonderful team at Milwaukee Weight Loss.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Remember mixtapes?
Mixtape? Can you buy that at the hardware store?
It's not that kind of tape.
To make a mixtape, you would dub all your favorite songs onto one cassette.
Oh, I was more of an 8-track guy myself.
You know, the new Marshfield 7000 Sulfat Penny Mustard reminds me of the world's greatest mixtape.
We have taken the latest and greatest components of every Penny Mustard configurable sofa and mixed them all together into one.
The Marshfield 7000 is the ultimate sofa.
It's absolutely stunning.
And the comfort level is off the charts.
I definitely see this sofa going all the way to #1.
It's kind of like a greatest hits album, except you can sit on it.
The Marshfield 7000 Sofa, starting at just $89 a month with no interest till July of 2027. Through July 6th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Here's to time out on the water in Wisconsin. To living your best life while enjoying the lake life.
Ready?
And getting up on a wakeboard the very first try. Or not. Here's to wearing only swimsuits and wishing this perfect day would never end. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
It's always a beautiful experience coming out to the ballpark. Many fans prep in the parking lot amongst our legendary tailgaters. When you're ready for new windows and doors, prep for those at the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. See, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from different Pella lines side by side. And if you order by July 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years on Blue Mountain Road or visit PellaWI.com today.
You're going to love the new all-you-can-eat Saturday breakfast buffet for under $10 at the Mine Shaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford. It's fantastic. From 8 a.m. till noon, kids under 3 eat free. Walk on in. It's all you can eat. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Hanging out on a Wednesday, which is hump day for all those who practice that great every Wednesday occurrence. Kristin, Brey, Scaffidi. Point taken. Thanks for tuning in, as always. However you find us over the air, online, all good. You can check out our podcast, which last time I checked was the #1 podcast here at WTMJ. Pat myself on the back. And you.
All right, so I set up, if you've been listening.
How fast did you do that?
It's not that hard.
It's hard for me.
Technology. If you've been listening and you heard our clip from Trey Crowder, the comedian who coined the buh instead of the big beautiful bill. If you text BBB, we will send you that clip. If you text truth, we will send you the Yuval Harari clip about the lack of trust in institutions, and when that happens, the only thing to replace it is dictatorship, and that truth is expensive. And so that was from Bill Maher. So text truth to 855-616-1620, and we'll send you that clip. Text BBB, and we'll send you the Trey Crowder clip.
Maybe next time we talk to Charles Franklin, when we do, we ask him, why don't you just put in one of your polls? Would you like to see a dictatorship? Maybe just ask that simple question. Like, what would that poll at?
That's interesting.
I know.
Because I think I do think that there's some people who, so long as the dictator is doing what they think is right, they're like, well, yeah, then just strong arm your way into that. I always think about this as far as even on the level of Wisconsin. So say after the midterms, say somehow Democrats do get the Assembly, the state Senate, and let's say Evers is still governor. Like, are you just going to power arm your way through everything and just forget that, like, we're still a 50-50 state? And so, like, this is, the things that happened this week with the proposed, still kind of not signed yet budget of, you can't just strong arm your way through all these policies when there's still 50% of, you can't just forget everyone else here who has opinions and thoughts. And
it's the ultimate question. What do you do when you have power, when you have total control? What do you do? How do you exercise that?
It's the mandate.
Yeah. Is it a mandate?
77 million people voted for this, and then a lot of people didn't vote at all. And yet that's the mandate, instead of considering how many people hate what's going on.
Yeah. So you and I were talking in our You Need to Listen podcast last night, which will be available next week, about news sources, how much people are willing to pay for news sources. And the answer is very, very a small number of people. And we both had different opinions on that, sort of what that suggests about us, and we'll let you listen to the podcast to get that, and we'll probably tease it on the show next week. But there's also research that says that right now people don't trust news organizations, but it's heavily based on what your political leanings are. And Pew actually, their survey looks at, like, I think the top 30? Top 30 major news sources. And it's sort of shocking, the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Just look at Fox News. How much do Democrats trust Fox News? Well, 19% trust Fox News. Republicans, however, 56%. That's a pretty big
It's
difference.
still lower than I thought it would be.
I would have guessed
It's
higher.
interesting that, so where do the other, you said 56?
Yeah, 56%.
Where do the other 44
I don't know.
get their news and trust? Like, what trusted news do they?
Twitter?
But that's not news. Like, Twitter is not the news.
Hey, you
Twitter
better
is a
tell Bill
platform to
McCoshen that.
find
Tell Bill
news
McCoshen.
on, but it is not an editorial, like, there's no editorial review of, like, these are the stories we are choosing to put out. Like, it is just a free-for-all. It is.
Here's where it gets even crazier. So I'm an older guy, right?
You're an elder?
Elder, yeah. The foundational networks of news, right? ABC, NBC, CBS, even CNN, which came in later with the cable revolution. They're all in the 20s on the Dem side, and in the 60 for NBC, trust, 58 CNN, 56 CBS. It's like, I don't get it. Like, how do you have that much mistrust of a news organization? And that's an example of what's happened in this country in, I would say, a relatively short time, right?
Well, when do you think it started eroding?
When Donald Trump started using the term fake news. That's sort of when it
So you feel like in, like, 2010 to 2015,
yeah,
even with all the contentious...
Yeah. I don't remember, well, I wasn't on the radio, but I don't remember having conversations about, God, CNN, they're so biased, or,
I don't know. I feel like...
I don't remember having those conversations. Now, again, I wasn't on the radio. Maybe a Jeff Wagner or a Charlie Sykes at this station would have a different take on that, but I just don't recall that. I mean, I was just talking to a teammate, Major Garrett, who's on the afternoon show.
News.
He used to work at Fox.
Really?
Many years ago. Now, he probably left for good reason, because he's a journalist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either, until the teammate told me that. So even, I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, because he's been at CBS for a while, there was still some thought that maybe Fox was like a regular news organization. And if you're out there saying Fox is always right, no, they're not. And they were shown to be not right.
They have a lawsuit to prove it.
Yeah, like almost $1 billion.
To prove it.
So I guess stop with that. You can like the station if you want, I mean, or the network. I don't care what you watch. I think you should sort of diversify your viewing, but I can tell you I have good friends who watch it all day and all night, all the shows, the Ingrams and all that stuff. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, and I also don't understand. Like, I don't know how to get it back, right? Because that's the more important thing. Is like, how do any of these media outlets earn trust back without middling?
Here's what I know is not the answer: to treat advocacy journalists as regular journalists. That is
the hill you will die on.
That is the hill I'm going to die on, because that is not a good development, and I don't care what anybody says, including my friends at the Milwaukee Press Club. Anyway, quick break. Kristin and Steve, point taken.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hasseless Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasseless.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about AccuNet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Downtown Milwaukee is open for business, and business is booming. I'm Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21. According to business leaders, access to talent, quality of life, and connection to community are among the many benefits of locating downtown. So, if you want to grow your company or start a new one, get down to business at MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
Historic Fox & Hound Supper Club gift cards make perfect year-round birthday, anniversary, and thank you gifts. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, it's like getting a free gift card. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com and enjoy your free dinner.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
You know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News every Wednesday at 8:45. It's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
We got a rousing edition of Ask Us Anything, shortened edition, because we have an early Brewers out today at 11:30. They play a doubleheader.
Surprise, surprise.
I love the text line because the text was correct. Yeah, Rush Limbaugh's spent about 40 years doing it. So, so they're but I think...
Not only that, we had another friend text into the show saying that at the Wisconsin GOP State Convention in 1992, people were selling buttons that said CBS Rather Biased as a slight to Dan Rather.
Really? Yeah,
I was 6 in 1992.
I do remember some of that Rather stuff. So sometimes my memory's a little foggy, but I think
it's been happening.
Yeah, I think
it's a slow erosion.
President Donald Trump has taken it mainstream, and I could be wrong, but I think he coined the term fake news.
You think he trademarked it?
Probably not. Maybe one of his lawyers did. He's got a lot of them. All right, ask us anything. 855-616-1620. That is after the news right here on 620 WTMJ.
Paying you to live more comfortably. A deal you do not want to pass up. Vince Vetrano for USA Insulation. They will insulate your walls from the exterior. No disruption inside your home. Blow and loose fiberglass in the attic, plus air seal everything. Most homeowners feeling a difference within 24 to 48 hours. And with government rebates, you could save 40 to 60% or more. No work for you to do. USA Insulation will process everything. Visit usainsulation.net. Start saving today.
USA Insulation.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. How's the knee feeling? Still bothering you? Or the back? Is the back still barking like ever? Is it bad enough where you're not even enjoying the summer because you're not doing what you want to do because of the achy joint pain? You're stuck. And now you're hearing, maybe you're going to need surgery. Well, maybe not. You really should try calling QC Kinetics, the leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. No knife, no drugs, no downtime, and no masking of the pain. It's at least worth calling for a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics today. It's 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Meet with the team and let them explain firsthand how QC Kinetics can help you enjoy your summer. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Get sale discounts store-wide all month long. What a great time to shop for all of your Christmas needs. Get your holiday decor and so much more, along with all the great bargains we always have for you. It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts. They call it the city that never sleeps. But the crew is coming to turn out the lights.
Durbin, a drive, left center, deep, see you later!
It's the Brewers and the Mets in New York City.
Turn out the lights!
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 11:35 on the home of the Brewers, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11 o'clock, we have 80 degrees, partly cloudy today with a slight chance of storms later on. High today, 87. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has invalidated the state's 1849 abortion law. The ruling handed down by the court this morning affirms a lower court's previous decision that had overturned the 176-year-old law. Attorney General Josh Kaul says the ruling represents an historic moment for the state.
Today's ruling marks a major victory for reproductive freedom following the uncertainty and harm to women's health that have resulted from the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
A Dane County Circuit Court judge had ruled in 2023 that the law did not apply to voluntary abortions. Sean Diddy Combs found guilty of 2 of the 5 charges against him, including transportation to engage in prostitution. He was found not guilty of the more serious charges of racketeering and trafficking. Defense attorney and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer on the case of the Southern District of New York.
The SDNY has phenomenal prosecutors, has a phenomenal office, and their record speaks for itself. But I think in this case, they overestimated the strength of their case, and this is what happens when a jury speaks.
Combs could still spend up to a decade in prison. Prosecutors want 20 years. Accused killer Brian Kohberger expected to plead guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students. ABC's Kana Whitworth is in Boise.
Brian Kohberger's parents have also made their way from Pennsylvania to Boise for the hearing, telling us in a statement, "We will continue to let the legal process unfold." Now, if a guilty plea is entered, they do expect sentencing to happen later this month, and at that hearing, they will allow for victim impact statements.
Kohberger faces life in prison. One Milwaukee public school is cleared of lead dust, while one more just needs a health department inspection.
Westside Academy's lead dust remediation is finally complete, and students will be able to return to the building this fall. MPS expects the Milwaukee Health Department to inspect Brown Street Academy next Monday. Currently, 14 more MPS schools are undergoing lead dust remediation and will be expected to be finished by August 25th. The remaining 29 schools are scheduled to be cleared of lead dust by the start of the school year on September 2nd. Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
A Northern Wisconsin brewing company planning to shut down the Minocqua 4th of July parade. Minocqua Brewing Company owner Kurt Bangstad seeking members of the public to join the brewery's plans to peacefully shut down the Friday parade. Bangstad was arrested last weekend and charged with harassment and disorderly conduct after an incident involving the Lakeland Times newspaper and its publisher, Greg Walker. The pair's long-standing feud stems from critical editorial treatment of Bangstad's 2020 run for state assembly as a Democrat. Big League Dream Day brings youth teams from across Wisconsin to American Family Field this morning. Head coach Mike Miller of Muskego Warriors youth baseball team tells WTMJ about his excitement for the young players.
They're fortunate that they get to play on this field, and there's only a handful of teams that get to play on it this year. So they're excited, and I'm sure they're going to be nervous, but I told them to make sure they take a look around and try to remember this, try to implant it in their brain so that they can remember this for the rest of their life.
The Warriors will take on the Franklin Crew youth baseball team. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street this hour. Dow down 19 points. NASDAQ up 147. S&P 500 is up 15. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:04.
It's there all day, and it never goes away. I hate pain. It robs us of so much. But if you take action today, your pain could be gone tomorrow. Because at Rejuvenex, we harness the power of Toradol and hyaluronic acid to calm the inflammation and cushion joints. Rejuvenex treatments are safe, they're FDA approved, and in most cases, insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pays for them. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, our treatments are affordable. It's not a gimmick. It's pharmacological medicine administered in office in a simple and convenient manner. And with it, our patients have been able to avoid risky surgery and begin to stop the onset of arthritis. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and here we've made pain treatment as easy and affordable as it can be.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Summer savings don't get any better than Colder's 4th of July weekend sale. From June 20th to July 7th, shop Colder's. Unbeatable deals store-wide and save thousands on your next home upgrade. At Colder's, they guarantee that you're getting the best deal in town, but during their 4th of July weekend sale, you can stack your discounts for even more savings. Save 60% on furniture and mattresses. Take an additional 10% off. Wow, that's a great deal. I've just shopped at Colder's. Great service, great showrooms. You're going to love it. Plus, you can save on appliances, too. Take an additional 5% off on top appliance deals you won't find anywhere else. Colder's has a huge selection of kitchen and laundry appliances from all your favorite brands, and you're guaranteed to get the best price only at Colder's. There are 4 Colder's locations: West Dallas, Oak Creek, Delafield, and Grafton. Hurry on in or shop online at Colders.com. Don't miss out on their 4th of July weekend sale going on from June 20th to July 7th.
Get more for your money, Colder's.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff could make his first big league start in over 600 days in the final game of the road trip Sunday against the Marlins.
Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I don't know. I'll be excited to go pitch, but I don't know the emotions, and be excited just to go pitch in a Major League Baseball game again. And whatever happens, happens, and then just go from there.
Today, the Brewers in New York for a doubleheader. Coverage of the game 1 begins at 11:35 here on WTMJ. Game 2 coverage begins at 5:35. Freddie Peralta and Jacob Mizorowski will start games 1 and 2. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-94 east at the ramp from Highway 175, Brewers Boulevard. We have the right shoulder of the block due to a disabled vehicle. No lanes are closed. Again, this is 94 east at the ramp from Wisconsin Highway 175.
Traffic is sponsored by East Troy Lions Music Festival. This weekend, live music, carnival rides, and fun for all.
East Troy Lions Music Festival is this weekend. 3 stages, 21 acts, carnival rides, family friendly, huge beer tent, fireworks on Saturday, and parade Sunday. EastTroyLions.org.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today. Slight chance of storms later on with a high of 87. Showers and storms. Isolated storms possible overnight. Low 67. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, warm. Again, slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs 83 to 88. On Friday, Independence Day, slight chance of showers early, partly cloudy, hot, humid, high 90, mostly sunny on Sunday, Saturday, hot and humid, with a chance of storms at night and a high Saturday of 92. Then Sunday, partly cloudy, again, chance of storms at a high of 85. 80 in Madison, 82 in Green Bay, and 80 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Now it's time for Ask Us Anything on Point Taken. Got a burning question? Give us a call or text on the Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620.
Already a lot of questions.
Fun questions.
Yeah, fun, and there's some serious ones on there as well. Kristin and Steve on Point Taken on this Wednesday. Shortened show. We have a Brewers doubleheader today. That'll all kick off after the bottom of the hour. And good luck, Brewers, the hottest team in Major League Baseball. Somebody asked me a question about the grading company of choice for cards and memorabilia. For me, it's PSA. And I know your husband, Mike.
My husband, big card collector, also PSA.
Yeah. I think that's the gold standard. There are other companies, Beckett and SGC. I just like PSA. They had a lot of problems because in the pandemic, everybody started collecting cards again.
The backlog.
Oh, my God. It was like a year plus. I mean, I waited forever. But now it's a little bit faster.
The highest graded thing you own. Do you have some 10s?
Oh, I got a lot of 10s. Yeah, Gem Mint 10s. Yeah, I got rookie cards of almost all the favorite Packers players. I've a really nice. I've never had it graded, but a Bart Starr rookie card. I think it's 56 or 57 that I should have graded. That is really, really a nice card.
All right. So you weren't one of those kids who put your cards in your
I did that
bike?
too. You know how many Mickey Mantles I destroyed in my spokes? God. Like awesome Mickey Mantle cards, and now each one is worth
because you liked the sound.
That was the thing you did.
I know.
We did dumb things. We were dumb when we were kids. It's a surprise that many of us survived, but we did, and here I am.
Here you are.
All right, so kind of a couple fun ones on the 4th of July. Like, what's your go-to meal? I'm sort of taking the best of these questions. What's your go-to meal on the 4th? What would you be making on the 4th of July if you were making anything?
If I was making anything, I don't really. We don't really host the 4th of July
or bring
events.
something. You bring something?
Mike would love if we brought potato salad. Mike just loves. To me, the thought of any mayonnaise-based salad in the summer, sitting out in the sun, is
you
just
don't let it sit out in the sun.
So gross.
You take it out of the fridge and then eat it.
So when I think summer and I think 4th of July, I think certainly sliced watermelon, another kind of fruit type refreshing fruit salad.
A good watermelon?
Yeah, good watermelon. I'm probably always going to choose a brat. Because another question we had is for son's birthday, debating between shish kebabs and brats or hamburgers. I would say just do all of them if you can do it, because it's a good variety.
Don't you want a sample platter? You want
But
everything.
if I health wise, I'm going to choose a shish kebab, especially considering like what veggies are.
Me too.
And how it's seasoned. But I would say a brat over a hamburger person.
I'm a brat over a hamburger person too, and even though I'm it's still in a sort of a maintenance phase because I don't want to gain the weight back that I lost. I'll have a brat. I won't have two brats, but I'll have a brat.
Bun or no bun?
It depends how I feel. Right. If I feel bloated.
I know some people who do the first one with a bun and then the second one just meat.
Yeah. Question about my tomatoes. My tomatoes are awesome. I have apple-sized tomatoes already in my greenhouse. Some of my plants have already hit the 7-foot mark because you raise them up. Isn't that amazing? I love green, and I never thought I'd love. Oh, look who's here! Your husband's waving.
Waving on the outside.
What's he doing here? Is he coming to pick you up? Oh, maybe it's a surprise.
Maybe.
I wonder what his question would be for us. So, do you garden now?
I was gifted some tomato plants.
Yeah.
I was gardening, and someone had a whole rack of tomato plants that she was taking to her yoga class. She goes, "You look like you would want some of these." So she gave me 2 different tomato plants.
A neighbor?
Just someone who was walking down the street.
That's random.
So now I have 2 tomato plants, and everything else is either like shrubs or flowers. And I'm very proud of what I've created so far.
So I've witnessed the transformation at your place, you and Mike's place, because it was like a weed patch.
Yeah, it was not good at the beginning of the summer.
It was rough. And now it's like manicured, and like there's cool plantings and beautiful planter boxes that are very rustic looking.
Yeah, someone very talented made for me.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I've gotten very obsessed with my yard this year as a nice distraction where I can't touch my phone and I can just be outside and yell at Frankie to not run into the street.
I don't know if we got the question today. Maybe it was last week that we didn't get to. Like, how much time do you spend at nights? Oh, I know. Someone asked me this question on an email after the show. How much time do you spend on your phone doing work type things after, like, let's say after like dinner time?
Until I go to bed.
Really?
I spend way too much time on my phone.
See, I'm separating.
You're better at that than I am.
No, I still watch some of the TV. If there's a breaking news, I'm still watching the coverage on a bunch of multiple networks, and then maybe looking at my phone. But I've sort of started to make that separation.
I feel like the only times I'm not thinking about content the column, the show, what's going on, how to talk about it, how to translate it. I'm sleeping, I'm staying present with Frankie, or I'm gardening.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
again, I am.
I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying other people should do that.
No, I don't know how you do all the stuff you do because you have like 3 full-time jobs and then like, oh, by the way, I'm raising a small child at the same time. That's crazy. How do you keep your sanity?
I don't know. My job's pretty fun. But that's a bold statement to say that I am a sane person.
I was going to say, are you keeping your sanity?
I lose my wallet basically every other day.
Yeah,
and,
what's that about?
The fact that once Mike had to count, he looked at me one day, we have a little whiteboard, then we'll go to break, a little whiteboard on our fridge. And he pointed to a number on there. He goes, what do you think that number is? It was 37. And I said, I don't know. He goes, that's how many cabinets I closed in our kitchen this week. So my brain is not always on what I am doing, which is why I would say I'm not necessarily a sane person.
I think Mike
there's a lot of adulting that I'm not very good at.
Mike and I think alike because I've closed a lot of cabinets in my house. There's only 2 people living there. It's like
a lot of drawers, a lot of cabinets. Like, I was gonna come back. I was gonna come back and close it. All right.
But you never do.
Keep your questions coming. 855-616-1620. It's point taken. Ask us anything with Steve and Kristin.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella windows and doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy, and we all are, and where we might be headed, Thursday, July 3rd. That's tomorrow, by the way. Check out the webinar. John McCure, our teammate, is co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management's the incredible Brian Jacobson, chief economist. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m. It's called Instant Insight, just after the jobs report is released. Brian and John are going to break it all down. Instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, which is a cool feature, and explains what it all means to you and your money. You don't want to miss this. Visit WTMJ.com, click on the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at annexwealth.com. That's always a good resource, annexwealth.com. That's Thursday, July 3rd, tomorrow at 9 a.m. with John McCure and Brian Jacobson. Don't miss it. McCure, Jacobson, instant analysis on the employment picture. They'll answer all your questions and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click on the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out the events at annexwealth.com. That's Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m. Register today.
It's time to find great summer values at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We have everything you need to get out and celebrate the season at unbeatable Farm and Fleet prices. Like 1-pound bags of Blaine's brand pecan halves or pieces, $6.99 each. 50-foot Yellow Jacket extension cords are half price, $24.99. Blue Rhino propane tank exchanges, just $17.99. Plus, we offer Blaine's best price promise, guaranteeing you'll always find the lowest price with us or we'll match it. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Oh, ask us anything as we get closer and closer to extended Brewers coverage today with a doubleheader coming up at the bottom of the hour right here on 620 WTMJ. Where do you want to go next?
Well, someone is looking for advice that I feel like is timely. So my girlfriend is here from Sweden.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
On a Swedish girlfriend?
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to take her on a road trip on Saturday to show her a slice of the state. What is your favorite Wisconsin road trip? I would say, depending on if you're starting from Milwaukee, this might be a higher. I think nothing's that far in Wisconsin.
No.
But last summer we did the Mississippi. We drove up to Pepin and we stopped in La Crosse and we did all kind of like the small little towns on the Mississippi River. If you can go across the state and head over there, that was awesome. Not like because I feel like the little towns in the Mississippi are still untouched from kind of the. Door County is what a lot of people think of. I think there's more money up there. There's more tourism and tourist traps up there. Versus the Mississippi, I think is still pretty authentic.
Yeah, like it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I would start in Milwaukee.
But yeah, if you start from here, if you don't want to drive over there, just go up the Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
and go up to Door, take the Lake Shore.
Highway 32.
Yeah, all the way up to Door County. And
I would show them the Calatrava or show her the Calatrava.
And the Calling?
Not the Calling. If you want to make a point and show how stupid the calling is in front of the College Travel, looking east on Wisconsin Avenue, certainly you can do that. Certainly a supper club experience. There's a million of them in Wisconsin. They're all great and all interesting. And, I'm going to Ishnala next Tuesday. Bob Prosser, if you're listening, I'll be there at as early as I can get there, so I'm not waiting forever. There's so many cool things, recreationally. Why you could kayak down the Milwaukee River.
Yeah. The truth is, like, if you want to do a road trip, for sure, but even if you just stay in Milwaukee, there's going to be, it's festival season, right? There's something happening.
Oh, my God, yes.
Everywhere, every weekend.
Strawberry Festival last weekend in Cedarburg. We got the festival, the third weekend of Summerfest coming up this week. That's a good place to start because you see a lot of different things. The music's amazing, best music festival in the world. There's no shortage of stuff. I guess I'd have to know what my Swedish girlfriend really likes. Maybe she wants to camp.
The truth is, it's also here for 4th of July, so I would try to look up different towns and like Kohler. I remember when I was 9 or 10, we spent 4th of July in Kohler, which was the most Norman Rockwell 4th of July I think I can ever remember.
Cedarburg's cool.
Cedarburg's beautiful.
Yeah. Certainly, experience all the Wisconsin food stuff. There's no shortage of stuff to do. I'm sure they'll have a blast. And say hi for us to your Swedish girlfriend. Is it Ingrid? Would that be her name? Is that the most common Swedish? I don't know. Favorite adult beverage for the 4th? I know what mine is.
I'll probably just go with a light beer.
Really? That's boring.
What are you going to go with?
Negroni. That's my.
You can't drink Negronis all day. You're going to be hammered by 5.
Well, I'm not drinking them all day. I'll start slow and finish strong.
How many Negronis could you drink in a day?
4.
But the ice is going to melt. That's a terrible outdoor drink.
No, it's not.
It's terrible.
It's a one or an
Aperol Spritz.
Aperol
Spritz.
That
is an outdoor summer drink.
I'm going to sample
Negroni
platter.
is like you have 1 to 2 with dinner at night. That is not a daytime drink.
Don't try to control my Negroni consumption.
You're going to be hammered.
I have a designated driver. My wife doesn't drink. Here's a completely different question. Will there ever be passenger rail from Milwaukee to Madison or Green Bay? I hope so, because that sort of makes sense. Certainly Green Bay.
I would hope so. I would love to not have to drive when I have to go to Madison and be able to get other work done on that straight shot. So yes, I would. Matt Smith would love if there was a train for how often he has to go to Madison. There's a lot of us who is like to just be able to sit and do other work or sleep or just not have to pay attention on 94 and be able to get to Madison quickly would be excellent. Think about how many more Badger games you could go to, or people from Madison and Dane County coming down to a Brewers game or to a Bucks game.
How about I-43 train, Milwaukee to Green Bay?
Same thing. You imagine, the only thing that people would be upset about is all those bars that do shuttles up to Green Bay.
Sure. Well, they'll get over it. Steve, I realize you're a hunter. Do you apply for points for bear hunting? I don't bear hunt. I've never bear hunted, but I want to. I'll actually be talking about that on my WTMJ Outdoor Show coming up this summer.
All right, here you go. Packer, choose one, only one. Packer Super Bowl, Brewers World Series, Bucks World Championship, or Badgers Football National Championship.
That's a great question because you know my love of the Packers. I'm going to say Brewers World Series win.
Because we haven't done it. Yeah. I honestly think that even though I would say out of those 3 teams, who do I follow the most? Because I know much more. I know basketball the best just as a sport because I played it. So, like, what I follow the most is different than I think the fact that the Brewers have never won.
Yeah. Not just going.
So, yeah, I would choose.
Win a World Series.
Yeah, that's my choice, too.
Otherwise, I would pick the Packers going to the Super Bowl and winning. Don't forget the Troll in Tulsa now. That's a good one.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
It's so cool.
Is it?
Well, the statue itself is beautiful and cool. The park is unbelievable.
Yeah.
As for once all the grass comes in, there's so much green space. The equipment is awesome for kids. The only thing is I don't understand, no parking lot.
Yeah, well, they don't have space for that.
There could have made some of the green space into a parking lot, and those poor neighbors.
Yeah, that's the
got
park
a lot
itself.
of street parking. People excited to go to that park now.
But kudos to any community that's looking at
It's
green
beautiful.
space and public art. That's one thing I never really got done in my term as mayor because I left too early. But I think public art is really cool, except the calling that sucks. All right, a few minutes left for the questions for Ask Us Anything. That was just my editorial comment there. Kristin and Steve Point taken on 620 WTMJ.
Streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding Plus to their names. It's fairly obvious they were inspired by Hassellus Mattress. Hassellus showrooms are employee-free, plus unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic, plus free next-day delivery, plus 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe we should change our name to Hassellus Plus. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control. But not only that, regular care with Connect Chiro can bring back your energy. A lot of folks start with headaches, back pain, and shoulder pain. How quickly you see results varies from person to person, but time and repetition are the key to staying on track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiro docs use a special tool for all your adjustments, targeted results, and a gentler experience. Check out the new location in Oak Creek or get started at GoConnectChiro.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Certa Pro Painters. They painted the exterior of our house. I loved it because they're thorough and they're thoughtful. As a matter of fact, they pointed out some wood that might need to eventually be replaced. They just looked at the whole house, and I felt like they absolutely cared. Get on Certa Pro's calendar right now. The summer sales discount goes through July 31st. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. They'll do it the right way the first time. Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's Certa Pro Painters.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 5.5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Crystal Farm shredded or chunk cheese, 2 for $5. 9 to 16 ounce selected varieties Old Dutch tortilla or crunch chips or salsa, 2 for $5.50. 10 to 10.8 ounce selected varieties Bird's Eye frozen vegetables, 4 for $5. 18 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates or bowls, 2 for $5.
Attention shoppers, safe.
Okay. Ooh. Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Happy hump day, everybody. We got a few minutes left for our Ask Us Anything. Texture said you're going to Ishnal. I'm going to Ishnal next Tuesday, and how long do you think we'll have to wait? Probably like an hour or so. We get there right when it opens. And I'm not sitting with Bob Prosser. If Bob's there, I'll say hi, because Bob's a great guy, a great partner at WTMJ. I've interviewed him on my podcast. I love supper clubs because it's, as much as I like to have fun with Wisconsinites, it is a truly Wisconsin thing. I know other places sort of do versions of it, but we love our supper clubs. It's just something we do, and we do it well. There's every kind of supper club, from the really rustic, I'm not going to say low rent, but just like casual to, the fancy places.
Have you gone to Harvey House yet in Madison?
I have not, no.
Highly recommend.
I discovered River.
That is, you're splurging though. It is not.
Well, no,
it's not a cheap night.
It doesn't have to be cheap.
It's wonderful.
Del Bar in Dells is also very cool. River's Edge I discovered in Green Bay area last year. Fantastic, huge, massive rectangle bar, delicious food, great steaks. Had a ribeye, enjoyed the hell out of it. What else do we have? Let's see. For the big beautiful bill, we're not calling it that anymore. The Why are all the pork barrel agendas added to it? Why can't it just be the? Because that's how it works. They buy votes. They buy their votes.
We will get
adding
it's
nonsense.
Murkowski, right? It's like, we will give Alaska and Hawaii some Medicaid.
Yeah.
And then you'll vote for it. But that got struck out.
Did you see her stare down the reporter for like 10 seconds in that video yesterday? So the reporter asked her the question. She stares at him for 10 seconds like she was pissed.
She was probably also tired. I mean, I think she was leaving John Thune's office at like 4 a.m. in the morning. I am not defending Lisa Murkowski right now. But I am just saying, yes, that viral photo of her yesterday just kind of looking like, oh my God, get me out of here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on her There was pressure on Susan Collins. And Ron Johnson is sort of an interesting character in this because he comes out so strong. There ain't no way. I'm paraphrasing. I ain't no way I'm supporting this. And then he always supports it. So, like, what does that mean? What does that tell us? That he got what he wanted? Because I thought he was talking about deficit reduction.
Promises were made. They're going to keep working on the deficit.
They are going to keep working on that? Do you believe that? All right, real quick. This is my question for you. Fireworks or drone show?
I've never seen a drone show, so I can't answer that, honestly.
All right.
I'm going to try to see it tomorrow night, but I don't know. We're going to Summerfest, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it from the Summerfest
I don't know,
grounds.
because it's on the lakefront, but that's
further north.
Yeah.
And so I've heard they're cool. I have yet to see one, so I can't answer that.
I'm looking forward to this weekend. One, it's a 3-day weekend. I know we still have a day of work to do yet, but I'm already looking forward to it. I'm going to Santino's Little Italy on Saturday nights in Bayview. Have you ever been there?
I have not.
Fantastic food. It reminds me of Sicily. So looking forward to that. Hanging out with some friends. And
it's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, weather looks good. I'm embracing the hot weather.
I prefer hot weather.
Yeah. Versus the cold. And we didn't have a cold winter. I mean,
no,
we got off easy.
I mean, it's like I like being bathed in heat.
Yeah. I'm going to tan this afternoon, actually.
Shirt off?
Shirt off, yeah. I'm getting ready for my Vegas trip, and that's shirt off all the time at the pool. You know that. Why is that so funny to you?
I just imagining you like on your front lawn with all your neighbors coming by. You just give them the head nod. I'm like, what's up with your Negroni in hand?
My very comfortable backyard.
With your badger fence.
With my badger
protecting you.
Yes. Keeping me isolated from, stragglers and hangers-on that are trying to get access to my yard. All right, we got Brewers baseball. Doubleheader today. Go Brewers. They're the hottest team in baseball. Before we get to any of that, here's Connie Weber with all the local news updates.
Thanks, guys. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time at 11:30. 4 days after the Milwaukee County Comptroller requested an audit of the Milwaukee County Transit System, County Department of Transportation's executive director has resigned. Donna Brown Martin, who is not an MCTS employee, tendered her resignation Tuesday after 8 years at the position. Members of the task force charged with identifying a new Milwaukee City flag have been unveiled. The 9-person body includes Milwaukee author John Gerda, Marisol Acevedo from Visit Milwaukee, and former Alderman Nick Kovac. Previous efforts to choose a new city flag have been criticized by city leaders for not being inclusive enough. 8 families without a home after fire burns down a New Berlin apartment complex. Crews responded early Tuesday near West Lincoln Avenue, Liberty Lane. A resident reported a fire coming from her bedroom closet where the furnace was located. Everybody got out okay. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is down 38 points at 44,456. NASDAQ up 155 at 20,359. S&P 500 up 15 points at 6,213. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-43 north at the ramp from Latham Street. The right shoulder they're blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Doesn't seem to be causing too many problems this hour. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today with a slight chance of storms later on. High today of 87. Isolated showers and storms possible tonight. Partly cloudy with a low of 67. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs 83 to 88 inland. Slight chance of rain early on Friday, 4th of July. Partly cloudy, hot and humid with a high of 90. Sunny, hot and humid. Chance of storms Saturday with a high of 92. Those storms mostly happening in the night. And then partly cloudy Sunday with a chance of storms with a high of 85. Madison right now 80 degrees, Green Bay 82, and Milwaukee 80 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:32. Brewers baseball up next.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about AccuNet